Oh no, live from the place where I forgot to come up with an intro. It's the Geek Show podcast.
It's all right. It's too crowded in this park anyway. This park can only really hold 1,000 people, but we've got 30,000 people in this park. It's amazing. It's huge. It's huge. How are we going to lose? Start the show. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
We're coming live from the Bronx.
Yes, we are. Fort Apache. It's an old reference, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
very.
you.
Paul Newman. Anyway, Lee George Cade, everybody. Hi, Lee.
Hi, you're all a dream to come home to.
How you feeling?
I got my voice back.
You
you
sound,
did.
Yeah.
You sound much better now.
Yeah, it took better. It turned out I had critically low albumin levels, which means my body wasn't processing protein.
I think you made that word up.
Yeah,
No.
the voice.
No,
coach.
he's
not.
No, albumin's a real thing, and without that, your body does not synthesize proteins. So things like, your voice, your health. All that
Oh,
other stuff.
good. Made me
Anyway.
feel bad. Made me the asshole for not understanding a
Stop.
big word.
Yeah, Sarah, maybe
Stop
go to
being
school
an
and get some
asshole,
science.
Sarah.
Yeah, I gotta go to school.
She's the returning champion, asshole. God damn it, Sarah is here.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Robert, hello. Robert Neal.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to be here.
He told me to behave, so I'm going to behave.
Why start now?
And the Wizard of Frost. It's
Did you
Rebecca
see-
Frost, everyone.
Did you
Yay.
see hockey update?
Oh
the
my
Utah
God.
Frost isn't even in the top 4.
Really? I voted.
The
Oh.
Utah Yeti is.
I like
bad.
I like Utah tax burden. That's the best name.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
was reading about what y'all.
an extra $220 a year in my taxes.
We just
for
went
a
through this
sport
in
I don't
Kansas
even care
City.
about?
They were going to demolish all of downtown for a dumb baseball stadium that no one wants or asked for, and then I see you guys are trying to do the same thing. With
but we can't-
hockey,
but we
and
can't
even
fix-
less requested sport.
But we can't fix a Bravenel Hall.
That's the
No.
other thing.
Yeah.
That's
We
what
can't-
bothers me most.
We can't
Yeah.
fix a Bravenel Hall, and we can't come up with a solution for the unhoused. But instead,
But we can-
Gondola.
This-
Gondola.
gondola, and this will revitalize downtown Salt Lake City. Whatever. Tony's
Yeah.
on an away mission.
Yes, Tony's not. He'll be back. He's
No,
doing
he
some
quit
things.
the show.
Oh, everyone
Oh
quits the show.
God.
But yeah, he'll be back next week.
This is what I do anytime anybody misses an episode. They quit the show.
All right. Well, let's begin, shall
What
we?
about our host Carrie Jackson?
Oh, brow, 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 brow.
Thank you, Sarah.
Carrie Jackson.
Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, x96.com. All right. We got a new Beetlejuice 2 trailer this week. And I got to say, if you've watched it, it looks like the old movie.
Well,
looks
that's
like
what
fun.
happens when you hire the original writers to do
Exactly.
your sequel.
Keaton seamlessly back in the role.
Oh, and he's having a blast.
Okay, but
He's
come
so
on.
set.
He
I love
seemingly
watching
went back
him.
into Batman. I mean, the
That's
man.
so, this is like his sexiest role ever.
I think. But what's interesting is, I still, the fact that Tony has not seen this movie baffles me.
Oh my
And-
gosh,
Sorry,
even
what?
I've seen it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you haven't seen Princess Bride, Rebecca. So
And
Oh my
I
God, in
never
heaven.
will.
Are you
I
kidding me?
never-
What?
I've come too far. I'm never ever gonna watch it, and
Yeah.
everyone
Now
can get
I'm
off my back
suddenly
about it.
motivated to come to
well,
Utah
you
to-
you are
to
going to
ambush
watch
you.
it because it's in my will that just plays at my funeral in a loop.
There you go.
I'm coming to your funeral.
Okay.
Lee.
There you
Okay,
go.
what's the threat of consequence there? You're dead. If I don't watch the movie, who's
He
gonna
will haunt
follow
your
up?
ass
Oh,
forever.
because I know you well enough to know that guilt will consume you, and you're just going to plunk your ass
Yeah.
down and watch Princess Bride.
Yank those
Listen,
strings.
I don't know. You don't know my thoughts about death and what happens after we die. I'm not worried.
But if Beetlejuice is correct, there's certainly a haunting involved. Rebecca.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You mean I get to hang out with Lee?
Well, I play
Okay.
Princess Bride in your house. As you wish.
So we what we get is in this whole trailer, we learn, and he mentions this character in the first movie. We meet
His ex.
Beetlejuice's wife.
Oh, I did
She's-
not realize.
Yeah,
Oh no, he does.
he mentions
was, like,
just a
disparaging her. Yeah.
just a tossed aside line.
Oh my
but
God.
but it's Monica Bellucci.
Oh, she's not like one of the
Hottie,
most
hottie,
beautiful
hottie.
people on the planet.
Yeah.
and they got a scar going down her face and these huge staples, Lee, sealing up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
so into
I
it.
actually donated those.
You did, I know. But that's Beetlejuice's wife. Willem Dafoe is in it as a
Yeah.
as a caseworker.
Oh my god.
And he's in it. Also, the return of the shrunken head guy.
Yep.
And it's all stop motion stuff. The worms are stop motion. They're not CG. It's
He
all the
learned
old
from
effects.
Alice in Wonderland, and what a garbage pile that was.
Yeah.
I assume it's Tim Burton.
It's
It is.
Okay, good.
It's all the old effects, and it just looks great. And so go watch the trailer. Maybe we'll watch it on the after party.
When he's on, when someone says, Tim, you need the blinders, you need a path, let's keep you on the path, he is the best working director alive.
He can
When
be,
he
yeah.
doesn't have those,
It's been a minute.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
think of his Ed Wood is one of the
Ed
most brilliant
Wood.
movies ever made.
It's one of
right?
my favorites. It's top
Yeah.
10.
And
you
then
know.
Big Fish.
Big
Big
Fish,
Fish
is
is-
great.
so good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
welcome back, Tim. Thank you. I watched Beetlejuice like 70 times in theaters when it came out.
I saw it quite a few times in theaters myself.
Yeah.
It's
I
one of
only
my
saw it. I only saw it for the first time in 2022, and I was
Oh my God,
upset
in
that I
heaven.
hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
Imagine how you'll feel when you watch Princess Bride, Rebecca.
Listen,
Yeah.
I know the gist. I think it's funny.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
That word means what you think it
See,
means.
that's a quote. That's a quote from the movie.
All right.
Yeah, by the end of this episode, I will have quoted the entirety of Princess Bride at you.
And guess
Let's see
what?
if
I'll
you can
catch
do that.
every single one of them.
Let's see. Also, a trailer that we got this week. This is a show that very few people are watching, but I think
It's so good.
it's so good, and you should watch it. And it was a great comic book. It was one of Jeff Weiss's favorite comics.
Hard read. Hard read.
A difficult read, yes, but
Yeah.
a great little show. Sweet Tooth. We got season 3,
Oh,
the season
cool.
3 trailer. We got more hybrid kids, including little wolf babies, which were adorable. Kelly Marie Tran is back. Cara Gee is there.
Be nicer to Kelly Marie
Yeah.
Tran, you jags.
Yeah, it's season 3 of the show, and if you haven't, go back and watch the first couple of seasons. They're like only 8 episodes, I think, each.
Produced by the Downies Juniors.
Yes, right. Yes, RDJ and the Misses.
Oh,
produced-
I didn't
Nerds.
know that.
They're nerds who love the comic book, and
Yep.
and the cast is great, and if you love animals at all,
Oh, yeah, yeah. And Big Man is just like as a character is so perfectly realized in this. When you adapt something and do it better than the source material, you're doing good. So
yeah.
Oh, geez, I like that.
It's June 6th is when that comes back. So, all right. So go and watch that. Another trailer that we got, and this is, I don't know if you were able to find this or not, Rebecca, because I found it on a news site and I watched the trailer, but I wasn't able to find it when I did a general search. The What If VR game trailer came out.
she found
No.
it. Very look at
Well, I
that.
found a picture.
Yeah.
I'm sure
this-
I could find the video for
the-
after.
yeah,
party.
it's like a demo kind of video. It's for Apple Vision Pro, and it's available May 30th, so right away. And if I'm reading this correctly, it's free. But what
Apple
it
and
is,
Disney doing something free?
well, I'm sure there's a catch somewhere.
Inspiration.
You have to pay for the Apple Vision Pro first.
Well,
Oh my
true. Okay,
God.
fair.
Yeah.
But it was a great little trailer. It had all kinds of characters in it: Red Guardian, the Collector, Thanos, Hela, and it starts with you in your living room, and that's what you see in the VR is your living room, or wherever it is you're playing, and a portal opening, and the Watcher appears, and it's Jeffrey Wright doing the voice. And he tells you need to come on an adventure with me. We've got to save the world or some kind of crazy shit.
Does he think they were actually Captain Carter? Did he get lost?
I did not see Captain Carter in the trailer. I'll say that.
I do tend to sit in my living room in my full Captain Carter garb.
Not surprised.
Has
There
been
you go.
known to do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's coming May 30th if you have the Apple VR.
I tend to hang out in my Thanos costume.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me 7 feet tall and purple. It's so weird.
I just sit in my house with one glove.
Carl Clark points out we got a Beverly Hills Cop Axel F trailer this week as well. So if you're, and I watched it, it was amusing. Looks like they've gotten back to the original feeling of the first one. The other two kind of went off the rails a bit.
I'm just glad Herbie Hancock's getting work.
You mean Harold Faltermeyer?
Harold Faltermeyer.
Oh, it wasn't Herbie Hancock?
No,
Why? What's wrong with me?
I don't know.
I'm not a
Herbie
child of
Hancock's
the
been
80s.
dead for
let's-
40 years.
Let's get to
Herbie Hancock is not dead. We just saw him in concert last
Yeah,
October.
he just had a
Guys.
birthday recently. He's 70, late 70s.
You know, he's 80. He's 84,
84.
and he
right?
has not lost a
He's
step.
96.
Good for him.
He's
He's
100,000
years old.
I know he's
He's
known
timeless.
he's known for Rocket, but he's so much more. He's a
Oh.
jazz influencer like you wouldn't believe.
So it's because the Rocket came out around the same time as Axel F theme that I got it screwed up in my head.
And they're keyboard heavy, so you
And
get it confused.
Easy mistake to make.
Well, and I was, at that time just like high on pizza and D&D all the time.
And
So-
and yes, Egg Bronson Pinchot is there calling him Ahmed Foley. All right,
All references I absolutely understand.
for a change. Well, what's wrong with Lee? Well, by God, they pulled 2 liters of mountain goo out of his lung the other day.
Yep.
But he's doing much better. I don't. I hate to make this prediction or jinx anything, but I think that you're out of the woods, sir.
I can't see any woods,
There you go.
so I think
Wow,
we'll be
that's
okay.
great.
Yeah, I can't see the forest from the trees, as they say.
But the bills
the
are
desert.
the bills are still coming in, and he could certainly use your help. There's the Venmo. The money goes directly to the Cade family, and no middle person taking a taste, wetting their beak or anything. It just goes right to the Cades. If you can help, that would be wonderful. It's on all of our social medias. Click on the Venmo. Also, geekshow.store is available as well. We love seeing our logo out in the wild, and especially when it's on you. Logo approved by Derek Hunter, who designed the original logo, and this is Lee George Cade.
That actually meant a lot to me. I didn't realize how much it meant until he was like, "Oh, cool," and then it's like, stress is gone.
Yeah, Derek designed the original logo, and I bought it from him. He was generous enough to sell it to me for $250.
That's a good price
That
for
is
the work he
generous.
put into that.
and he's now famous, Derek Hunter, working in Warner Brothers. So
Yay.
geekshow.store is where you get that. And don't forget our Patreon. Geek Show got this covered. More of these videos coming. Time Closet. There we go. Time Closet. The Time Closet videos are on the way. Also, you get the...
Oh wait, Carrie, pop that thing back up.
Oh, yes. Time Closet.
Wanted to make sure everybody saw it.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, some Time Closet videos, more on the way, and also you get the After Party exclusive. You get the Space Show early. Lots of reasons to be there, and it's very affordable. I mean, come on.
We've
Treat
got
fitting.
a super fun space show coming up
Oh,
soon.
yes.
Oh my gosh, we had a blast with this
we were
upcoming
just-
Space Show.
We were just giggling and laughing and making
Oh.
making fun of Riker.
So much
It was
fun.
the best.
Yep. So geekshowgotthiscovered.com is the link to our Patreon. All right, let's continue with the news. Speaking of Star Trek,
Speaking of Space Show.
speaking of the Space Show, there we go. I would love to have her as my teacher at Starfleet Academy, ladies and gentlemen.
You'd like to have her above you?
I would.
Oh my
Here's the thing. She's always wonderful in
She
everything she does. Of course, the news movie. Why can't I think of the title? Robert, help me out.
The news movie.
The one where she's working in the newsroom. Albert Brooks.
Batman v
Newsroom.
Superman.
Newsroom. Is it Newsroom?
No, she's
think
not on
it's-
Newsroom.
No.
For the
It's-
audio listeners,
Yes.
Holly Hunter?
Holly Hunter is
Holly
who I'm
Hunter,
talking
yes.
about.
There
but
we go.
most-
Thank you.
But most recently, she was in a show that everybody should have watched harder because it was hilarious. Tina Fey produced it, called Mr. Mayor.
God,
Yep.
Mr.
Oh.
Mayor was so good.
It was so funny, and nobody was watching it, and it's a shame because it was so funny.
I will always go back to Raising Arizona with her.
Oh,
Raising
yes.
Arizona
It's-
is a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's like when the Coen said, "Oh, we can be funny. It doesn't all
Yeah.
have to be grim and dour."
Yeah.
The chat's coming
Nobody's
in hot
going
with
with The Incredibles?
broadcast news.
Broadcast News. thank
Broadcast
you. It's
news.
a great movie if you haven't seen it, and she's wonderful in it. Albert Brooks is hilarious in it. And yeah, Broadcast News. Thank you very much, chat room. But she will be playing the captain and chancellor of Starfleet Academy, presiding over both the faculty and a new class of Starfleet cadets as they learn to navigate the 32nd century.
And it is rumored that a lot of the characters from Discovery are actually transitioning to this new show.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's that timeline. So we already know Tilly is most likely going to be
I was going to say,
one of
they've established that Tilly is a teacher
yeah,
of Starfleet.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
that same timeline, which I'm thrilled with because we've never played here, right?
Yeah.
So
We don't have the burden of canon.
right, leaving Picard's era, leaving Kirk's era, and doing something perhaps we could say boldly going to a new time
There it is.
stream.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
We're not even going to talk about Simon Kinberg and the
Nope.
the
Nope.
upcoming.
No,
Nope.
we're not,
Prequel?
because I've only found that from one source, and it's a questionable one, and I'm not willing to go down that road until I get better information.
Yeah.
I
Let's
can't
see.
wait to see a brand new movie about first contact with the Vulcans.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be first contact with Vulcans. It could be first contact that we are with the Vulcans. Everybody misconstrued that whole thing. They went, we've seen this before, and I'm like, I don't think you're reading the sentence correctly. Anyway. But again, with that project, I'm waiting for confirmation.
Plus, there are aliens on Earth for centuries prior to Zefram Cochrane's meeting the
Carol
Vulcans.
Kane.
We know this from Men in Black.
And the Immortals.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sandman season 2 casting. It's a long ways away, but we are getting season 2.
So good.
And it's terrific. Variety reports new faces will be Esme Creed Miles as Delirium, Adrian Lester as Destiny, Barry Sloane as a character that Netflix referred to as the Prodigal, who comic book fans know as
Robert's
Destruction.
excited.
Destruction. Yes, thank you very much. So you're adding that to the crew, which is death, desire, despair, all of them. They talk about the Prodigal is significant because it's how the character is referred to throughout the first volumes of the story. The 3 new castings point to the Sandman season 2 covering the graphic novel's installment Season of Mists.
Ooh.
Neil Gaiman told the trade the casting of Destiny, Delirium, and Destruction was very much on his mind. He said, every time I think or run into or pass or notice an actor who could be Destruction or Delirium, I send Alan Heinberg an email. So so there you go.
So
There's
it's not
no
Tori
premiere
Amos,
date?
okay.
No. Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
There's no premiere date, nothing yet, but just the casting. That's all we know about season 2. So dig out your Sandman graphic novels and do some research.
Green Boy 28 asks a good question: who is playing the sand?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh,
Yes.
Oda, Renee Auberjonois.
Oh.
That works too.
But he's dead.
I'll take them both.
He's perfect casting then, especially if he was cremated.
Yeah.
So Donnie Yen's character Kane at the
Incredible.
terrific at the center of John Wick Chapter 4 end credit scene. Now we know that's exactly where the franchise will continue. We do have the
Yay!
ballerina. We have the ballerina movie coming out as well, but we're also getting this one for Kane was introduced in the movie as a member of the Assassin Secret Society High Table. The film ended with him being freed of that obligation, and then in the end credits attempting to reunite with his daughter while also maybe being assassinated by the daughter of one of his victims. But he managed to survive and is getting his own movie, and good for Donnie Yen because he's amazing.
Give me all the Donnie Yen you can.
Yes. And the ballerina movie Ana de Armas as a vengeful dancer directed by Len Wiseman. That's coming next summer, June 6, 2025.
Just go watch the Ip Man movies if you guys
Yes.
really want to see Donnie Yen kick ass, take names.
But you have to make sure that they're the Ip Man movies with Donnie Yen, because there's another series of Ip Man movies without him. But the 4 that he did were amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I feel like I also got to say there's the Continental on, I think, Amazon.
Peacock.
It's a 3-parter, yeah.
And I don't know if anybody's watched that. I have never heard a single word about it outside when it debuted.
We talked about it here on the show, but then nobody on the show watched it or got back to us.
Yeah.
Take a
If you
look
want
at it, Lee.
Another. Well, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson's there. Yeah.
That's the problem. I think that's why I stayed away.
Yeah. And it's hard because I loved Mel Gibson when I was a youth, and but you can only be married into a Jewish family for so long, and hear so much anti-Semitism come out of a guy's mouth before you go, "Fuck you."
All right, that's
Mel
enough,
Gibson.
Mel.
Yeah. Also, another good Donnie Yen movie, 1993's Iron Monkey. It's kind of like a wushu superhero movie, and it's fantastic. So. I could
Trevor
go on and
Trevor said he loved the Continental. Andrew says it would have been better if not for Mel Gibson.
Yeah. And it's a shame. I mean, he's addressed his alcoholism and his substance abuse and his family's history of anti-Semitism. So I hope he gets the help he needs. But in the meantime, I don't want to support him. So
Exactly.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last of Us Part 2, Season 2. We got some more casting. Yes. That's Jeffrey Wright coming back to play the character he played in the video game.
I love that.
Let's see. Jeffrey Wright stepping back into the role of Isaac Dixon. Wright's, you know him, of course. Everybody knows him.
The Watcher.
Isaac is the quietly powerful leader of a large militia group who sought liberty, but instead has become mired in an endless war against a surprisingly resourceful enemy.
I have played The Last of Us Part 2. I literally don't remember this character. I wish
Is it a side
Maybe you
quest?
didn't play it.
well, you don't really get side quests in the game.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I have bad brain as well, and I don't remember
Okay.
a lot of stuff. So,
All right. So
putting that
anyway.
out there.
I mean, and when you look at the rest of the cast of this Last of Us Season 2, with him joining it as well, it's just going to be amazing. So looking forward to that. Okay. Now, many moons ago, I discovered Club 33 in Disneyland.
Yeah, Carrie, this news story is only for you.
The only reason I know about Club 33 is because of Perry Jackson.
Literally.
But
Yes.
here's the thing about Club 33. It's like most Disney heads now know about Club 33.
So you were the Club 33 hipster who was
Maybe.
into it before it got
I
cool?
I just remember Carrie calling me from Club 33, and I said, "Where are you?" And he said, "Somewhere you'll never be."
Wow.
Now everybody
Speaks
thinks
no lies.
no, everybody thinks
Away
that
from the pores.
everybody thinks I got invited because of my media contacts. No. I got invited because of my brother-in-law's connection to the banking industry. That'll give you an idea. Of
I
what
got
we're
invited
talking about.
because I had an extra $1,000.
Club 33, it was an exclusive dining club inside Disneyland, and it was a secret for the longest time. It was the only place you could get booze in Disneyland, and it was like where the hoity-toity guests would go, the ones who are very moneyed. And then word started to leak out about Club 33.
And then they started letting the pores
The
in.
casuals started showing up.
They started letting in the casual Disney adults.
Last time I was there.
Oh, Walt would turn at his grave if he saw this nouveau riche here.
What they don't tell you is the frozen head of Walt Disney is on display. And that's why only a few people get to go in at
Really?
a time.
That's the only way you keep the shrimp scampi cold.
And Egg is right. It was named after the 33 companies that helped fund the park originally.
Missouri's own Semitic or anti-Semitic Walt Disney.
Yeah, exactly. So they've done a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. They've done the Jungle Ride movie. They decided,
Now we need a movie based on a restaurant.
I know.
It's called
Yeah.
Princess and the Frog.
Anyway, the project is said to exude the tones and vibes of Clue and Night at the Museum.
Oh, I'd like that. A murder mystery at a Disneyland restaurant. Would be kind
So
of fun.
the Haunted Mansion?
And the
Rebecca,
wait staff can all be from the Bear Country Jamboree to tie it into the bear.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
where does Uncle Remus fit in?
I was going to say, when did Song of the South, when is the Song of the South going to get its due time?
That's right. I went there.
But we got.
I believe it got its due time about 70 years ago, Rebecca.
I used to have that VHS. I had a
Me
bootleg.
too.
copy.
My
I have it on
grandma had it.
DVD.
But here's
Have it
the
on
only.
Yeah,
DVD
the
somewhere around here.
DVD.
Here's the only reason that I brought it up is because Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy Dan Levine and Dan Cohen are producing. And so that's the they came up with an idea for a treatment for it, and so I'll see it.
Treatment is a fun word for that script.
It's a first opened in 1967, located near the Pirates theme park attraction. It's near the exit as you go out in Anaheim.
Carrie, don't tell the regulars where they can find it.
They all know. It's in Anaheim. It's where the exit for Pirates is, and because if you exit Pirates and turn, I think right, there's the door that has a number 33 on it, and that's where you go in.
You just go knock, and they let you in there?
No.
Only if you have a credit score of 850.
I tend to stand out.
Property.
I tend to stand outside of the plaque and just scream, "I'm dyslexic. What is it?"
Literally, when I went to Disneyland back in December 2019, I was standing in the area of Club 33, and there was a guy knocking at a door that's obviously not a real door, and like standing outside. Standing outside this door. We sat and watched him for like 20 minutes because we were like, what is this guy's plan? Like, what does he think is going to happen?
Rush the club.
Yeah.
You know what movie I want? Like, if you're going to make a movie based off of Disneyland, I want a movie that's about the people that have to hop out of the manholes and clean up the trash before anybody ever sees it on pain of death.
Yeah.
I want to see what goes on behind in the tunnels, behind the underground.
Lee, have you listened to the Blades in the Dark Adventure Zone arc?
Oh, did they do Blades in the Dark?
They do. It's with Steeplechase, and it's in a theme park, and they're all the grunts who do all the work in it, and so that is immediately what I thought.
Is that McElroy's?
It is. I'm sorry to reference another podcast on this. It is. It's fine, but
actually, I got a story last time I was at Disneyland from a deeply embedded agent who is no longer there, who told me the
he's
legend.
In the ground now.
Oh, no. He's very much alive. He's just working for a different company. But he told me the legend of the broken Olafs.
Can we hear
Legend
it?
of the Broken Olafs?
Yeah. Like the people that wear the Olaf costumes for the parade.
Oh, no.
tend to be very, very small. Tend to be very small women of Asian descent, and the costume itself is very heavy. So he said a lot of times you'll be going by guest services and you'll be like, why are all these tiny Asian women in here doing guest services? And it's because they're recuperating from when Olaf broke and hurt them.
That makes me so sad.
That's a movie.
There is currently a series, and I was going to bring it up on the What We're Consuming series on the History Channel called How Disney Built America. And you will be amazed at how much influence on modern, not only pop culture, but business and amazing things that Walt influenced and created, for that matter. You know?
Well, that's why it always...
I called the Disney company and all of their subsidiaries the cradle to the grave empire for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I always laugh when people accuse them of being woke, because I'm like, no, they're pandering to what's making them money right now.
Yeah.
They are the company. They're not going to do anything that's going to destroy the company.
I mean, right down to sound on cartoons. Yeah. Nobody could figure out how to do it so that the timing was synced with the animation. Disney figured that shit out. I mean, you know, on his own. It's just amazing. Anyway,
when I worked at the bank, I had to read this air quotes management book called Inside the Magic Kingdom: 7 Keys to Disney's Success.
Oh boy.
It was interesting. It was really interesting. But it's also kind of hard to read a book like that like really celebrates, and rightfully so, the way management works within Disneyland, but also the way that now like cast members are voting to unionize, and the way that the cast members are treated, and like the injuries that they suffer, and how they have to sleep in their cars in the parking lot, right?
God.
It's kind of hard to
that's why the unionization
balance.
the unionization was started with the workers and now is moving into the people who wear the costumes unionizing. It's important that it happen, and that's why.
The only animator that did more than Disney in the early part of the 1900s was Max Fleischer, and the only reason why was because he was literally innovating and inventing new ways to do animation, rotoscoping, motion capture, all of that stuff, and that was like early 1920s.
But Disney did motion cap as well. with,
but it was a lot of times there was a lot of I watched a documentary about Fleischer about 6 months ago, and it was it is amazing how much skullduggery was going on between those two.
All right. Let's see. We all remember the Munsters.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
Well, James Wan wants to bring the Munsters into Universal's Monsterverse.
okay.
Let him do it.
I know, right? I'm all for this.
I just want to know how a Dracula's daughter and a Frankenstein have a werewolf baby.
Exactly.
Genetics.
It skips
Have you
the-
ever seen a
skips
Punnett
the line.
squarely?
Mad
These
Scientist
things-
Lab? Come on, man.
The show will be called 1313. It's a reimagining of the Munsters. And this is James Wan's Atomic Monster and a whole bunch of people all getting together.
Didn't we just get a Munsters
Yes,
redo?
we had two.
Zombie.
We had two.
Rob Zombie's
we had
terrible
1313 Mockingbird Lane,
Which was great.
and we had his Monsters.
Yeah.
Mockingbird Lane, that was Brian Fuller, correct?
That was Brian Fuller. And it
Which
was a one
means
shot.
he would have left 3 episodes out, but
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's on YouTube, and you should go and watch it because Eddie Izzard as Grandpa Munster, Portia de Rossi as Lily.
Oh, I love them both so much.
It's just amazing, and it's funny yet it's dark. I mean, I thought it was the perfect reboot for the Munsters.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Oh.
nope.
Yeah, but he wants to bring it into this.
Wasn't Jerry O'Connell Herman?
Jerry O'Connell was Herman?
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird.
No, but we know he does comedy really well now
Yeah.
because of Lower Decks.
But what they did is that Grandpa had to keep getting parts for Herman because they would rot.
because he's a Frankenstein.
Because he's a Frankenstein. And so that was part of the plot. It was just a great reboot. It's on YouTube. Go watch it.
Okay, I'm convinced.
The original Munsters, I remember vividly being like 5 years old and watching it, and there's a scene where Herman's climbing up the outside of a building, and I was convinced for years that it didn't really happen. But lo and behold, while in the hospital last week, I saw that episode, and it was
Yeah?
amazing. So he really was climbing up the outside of a building.
Oh, it's I loved the Munsters when I was a kid.
The
Anyway,
original was amazing.
I enjoyed it more than the Addams Family.
Whoa, heresy.
I know, right? I know that is heresy, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Two families alike in monstery.
now I wish Tony was here because I have some
Yeah,
good
kind
news
of
for him.
kind of rude to talk about this without Tony.
I know
Hello?
There are bigger
I
Green
guess
Lantern
Rob's here.
fans.
Rob's here.
that's true. Rob's I think.
Oh no, Rob, come
Rob-
back.
You know,
Rob,
it's
we need
funny.
you.
If it was a competition, I kind of think Rob would win. Green Lantern fan over. Well,
Tony has already admitted this.
is that right?
That Rob would
Yes.
win.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then, Rob, this is some good news for you.
Something from. Oh, sorry.
Yes, the Green Lantern TV show has
It's been
enlisted.
in limbo forever.
It has been in limbo. We now have writers, and you're going to love this. Damon Lindelof. I know, right? Of course, his Watchmen miniseries is transcendent. He wrote and was the showrunner on it, which is probably what he's going to do here, because that's just what he does.
Don't forget Lost, baby.
Who can forget? Fellow
Who
writers.
could forget?
Fellow writers also include Chris Mundy, the showrunner and EP recurring writer for Ozark and
Ozark's so good.
yeah, so he's there.
I'm there right now. I'm in the Ozarks.
Counterpart writer Justin Britt Gibson, Brianna Gibson, who is the executive story editor on The Penguin, which we saw a lot of scenes from, and it looks like it's well written, and the morning show writer Vanessa Kelly, which is a show I've watched, and it's
Morning show's
it's
great.
also well written.
I like
So
morning show.
we're finally getting some movement on the Green Lantern show.
If they just finally determine who they're going to use as the lanterns, that's the only thing that's really holding me up here.
Who played the Green Lantern in the live action Challenge of the Super Friends back in the late 70s? Rob?
Ryan Reynolds.
No.
In the
No.
70s, Rebecca's.
Hang on.
It was literally a guy in Green Lantern pajamas.
Yeah. David Ogden Stiers, because we had this conversation about Martian Manhunter earlier.
Yeah.
Make
crap,
the
I
John
cannot
Stewart
remember.
character make the John Stewart character the lead. I'm sorry, you just need to do that. There's a generation of people who know that is their Green Lantern, and that's all right. Now this was great news. Also, Green Lantern fans get this news. Us Marvel fans get this news. This is terrific. Paul Bettany.
No, this is sad.
Is it?
Yes.
Why?
Because
Well, we
this is happening means something else isn't happening.
Oh, well, let me get the story, and then you can tell me what's not happening. Paul Bettany coming back to play Vision on a TV series.
I love Vision.
Terry Matalas is the showrunner.
Yep.
That's Picard season 3. Some damn fine Star Trek, and I think he could do the same thing with Vision here.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think I know why Lee is upset now.
Why is
and
that?
he was the showrunner for the 12 Monkeys television series as well.
Yes.
But because he's doing Vision, he will not be doing Star Trek Legacy.
Oh.
But
so,
they haven't even announced.
well, no, they flat out said that there's no chance of Legacy happening because Paramount's in financial limbo and most likely getting bought by somebody that's going to turn it into a reality show network.
Oh no!
But,
I would love it if Disney bought it and did a Star Trek theme park for me before I
They
did.
would be smart to acquire it.
I will throw myself out the airlock if Star Trek gets Disneyfied. That's the
Becca,
last thing on
the
planet
times
Earth that
they
I
are
want.
changing, and you need to.
I'm sorry.
plan
That's
on
how
it.
that's how you get woke Star Trek. Is if Disney buys it?
Woke
Yeah.
in my Star Trek?
No.
I don't think so.
All right. We also got a writer for the X-Men movie. There'll be strong feelings about
John
this.
Shea?
Sorry, another X-Men movie.
Yeah.
The 19th X-Men movie.
Now that Disney
No,
owns
but they're
the
good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that Disney owns it, they're like, come and play in our sandbox. We're doing
right.
this. It is Michael Leslie, who did the Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, does he have literally any other credits? Do we know?
Little Drummer Girl.
Oh, good.
Again, that's just the
relevant.
Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
here's
see this
the-
picture, and all I see is Lex Luthor from Lois and Clark: The Adventures of Superman.
What I predict will happen is he will put together a treatment, and they'll say, thank you for playing, goodbye. And we'll take that and make it better. That's what I think will happen. They'd be wise to tap that X-Men 97 writer's room. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like that.
I have to interfere really quick just for Rob because Rob needs to see this. Here he is. The 70s live action Green Lantern.
yes. There we go.
Thank you.
I like his 3D glasses.
Yeah,
There
it's
we go.
fantastic.
I like his shiny suit.
All right.
Such a great costume.
Yeah. All
Thank
right,
you,
let's
Lee.
get to a couple of stories about the business of show, and then we'll wrap things up. Comcast has revealed the pricing details for its Peacock, Netflix, Apple TV bundle.
I'm going to scream.
Yep.
They're changing the name to Cable Plus.
Oh, good.
Apple P Flex.
I don't know what they're going to call it yet.
Net plus P.
But they assure us it's a home run for consumers.
Sure it
that's
is.
true. I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
It is
let's see.
the strongest pull to piracy that I've heard in years.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
The package will cost you $15 a month for existing subscribers as a bolt-on, or $30 a month for Now TV subscribers, whatever that means.
And what's the ad situation like?
Yeah. Great question.
Let's see. Existing
$30 you
broadband-
get ads.
Existing broadband mobile subscribers will be able to get Stream Saver for $15 a month. If you're an existing customer, could be broadband, Xfinity, any form of packages, that's $15. That's a 30% plus savings, they say. I don't know. Stream Saver, Now TV, streaming video. We're adding, let's see, $30.
so
Oh no, wait, I was wrong. It's P Flix Plus. There we are. That's the new name for it.
No, that's a different pay service.
You cannot access PFlix Plus in Utah because you
No,
have to have
Lee,
a
I think
VPN.
you're thinking of Lee. You're thinking of Netcock Plus.
Oh, goodness.
sorry. PFlix has a little banner that pops up if you visit it telling you about Utah's legislature. And it's,
It does not say about the commercial part of it.
all I know is I'm paying almost $20 a month for Amazon, and I'm getting ads now. Thank you, Amazon.
Dr. Paul in the
Bezos.
chat room says, in sports news, Zaslav let TNT, the cable channel,
What?
lose the NBA. Had it
Wow.
since 1989. Best sports show with Inside the NBA. Next season's the last
Oh
one.
man.
wow.
Wow,
Wow.
Zaslav.
I'm dying to know why they still let Zaslav exist and
I
do
know, right?
things.
Because he's doing it cheap.
Because he's got information on people.
Could be.
He's got PFlix.
He's got that P-Flix money. I'm writing
Capitalism was.
I regret nothing.
No. P-Flix plus.
money.
After
Okay.
dark.
Streaming soon.
After Dark is really good.
And this next story is very sad. Roughly 14% of the workforce at Pixar has been laid off.
Oh no.
This is all part of that cost-cutting situation. I've always wanted to go out to Pixar if they have tours. I would love to see it. I'm fascinated not just by how they do their work, but the the attitude has always been we keep the financial people away from the creatives, which I think is a good idea. The creatives have their own area. They work in their own kind of realm. They have their own set of rules. But leadership, Steve Jobs was brought in 2006 to help build it. But they have notified everybody of their reductions. 14% of Pixar's workforce, that's around 175 employees.
Wow.
Are being let go.
This news was so pervasive that even my husband, who has nary a care in the world about what happens in the entertainment business, said to me, "Whoa, I feel bad for everyone at Pixar."
Yeah. Now, they've known since January that layoffs were coming. They just didn't know who was going to get the
It's
axe.
going to be that many.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's all across Disney. But
Disney
this is,
got gutted last year.
Yeah,
It
but
was
this
a
is
travesty.
Pixar specifically.
Mhm.
Anyway, so there you go. That is
And soon they'll be hiring prompt generators for their new AI animation division.
that's what concerns me.
Oh,
Hey,
it's not
Google?
even it's not even a concern. It's coming. Just
Hey Google, if you're listening, my phone lights up. If you're listening, stop it. I just want to use the regular search engine without all this
I
nonsense.
hate it.
This
Yep.
is insane.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't even use my my Adobe software that I use every single day for my job, and now it's just trying to cram AI stuff.
I'm gonna have to go
I-
back to Ask Jeeves.
I
I
have
don't want to
30
do that.
I have
Is that
35
so?
years of editing experience, and they're like, "Oh, use our new AI editing tools." I'm like, "No, I don't want to. I don't want you to put me out of work, you assholes."
AskJeeves.com still exists.
It does.
You're going to
going
make me
back
go
to
to
it.
Bing?
Yeah.
You want to throw people off? Instead of saying Google it, say Bing it. They stop and pause and go, what? Anyway, we got an update on the Spawn movie.
Carrie says with enthusiasm.
I just listen. As much as a genius as Todd McFarlane is, as far as like toy companies and art and all that stuff, he's also an a-hole. But he has hired two-time Academy Award nominated screenwriter Scott Silver to rewrite the screenplay. Thank God. Keep Todd away from it. All right.
You know who would make an
What has-
amazing Spawn movie?
Mhm.
Guillermo del Toro doing a
Yes.
Spawn
Oh,
movie.
baby.
Okay,
What
no,
is
wait,
this
hang on.
Scott
I'm going to, I'll see your Del Toro and raise you a Jordan Peele because then you get
Uh-huh.
black
Yes.
cultural references in
Yeah.
the movie that Del Toro will not get.
Yes,
No.
You
exactly.
guys,
You're absolutely right.
here is the filmography for Scott Silver, okay? 1999, The Mod Squad. Forget about it. 2002, 8 Mile. Okay.
Oh,
A couple of other movies, and then 2019, Joker.
oh, good.
And upcoming Joker 2, and the untitled Hulk Hogan biopic.
Oh, yeah. That's what you want.
Anyway, so as long as Todd McFarlane's not directing or writing it, I'm good with it. Anyway, and
Can I
then
throw one
finally,
other Todd McFarlane thing in there, Gary?
sure.
He just announced, or McFarlane Toys just announced yesterday they got a Marvel license to
Oh,
do 1/10 and I think 1/6 scale figures, which does not scale with Hasbro's 6-inch scale,
mhm.
1-to-1. I mean, they're a little going to be taller than, but I know that McFarlane not too long ago had a deal with Hasbro as well to also produce some toys. So I'm not sure whether Hasbro's losing that license and McFarlane's swooping in to take it over. But I know that Hasbro has had some financial difficulties over the past few
Ooh.
years.
They have, yes.
So
All right, we'll see
could be
what
a thing
happens.
with McFarlane.
And finally, this the producer of what?
I just want to defend the photo I'm going to use because if there were literally any other photos on the internet.
Listen, I want to look at this photo all day. There's no defense that's
All right.
needed.
The producer of the Kraven the Hunter movie, Matt Tallmock, said, "Here's the reason that we pushed it to December 13th. It's not the reasons that you think. Kraven has moved to Christmas because we're excited about it, and Christmas is the best release period there is when you get people with time to go back to the movies over and over again. That was a real reflection of how the studio felt about the movie. Honest, we're really excited."
Oh boy!
But that's a great move that reflects the, yeah.
This interview was so funny because they said, "You guys are gonna go absolutely ape shit over this movie. You guys are gonna love it so
My favorite
much."
thing, telling and not showing. That's my favorite.
I love being told I'm gonna love a terrible movie. Like, honestly, stop selling. I'm already gonna be there, and I already know it's gonna be bad. But like, please don't tell me I'm gonna want to see it.
Believe
over
me,
and
it's
over
not
again.
going to be Madam Web bad.
Yeah.
I tried to go back. I'll tell you about it coming up. What did we consume this week? Who's first?
I just want to throw in. I have a meat trench just as impressive as he does down the middle of my abdomen, but no one wants to see it.
The word meat trench is abominable. I've never.
So is my meat trench.
So, do we want to do consumed or do we want to do the other
That's
thing?
right. We should do the other thing and then do what we consumed. We got to raise a glass, and later tonight I'll be raising a glass of serious dark liquor for Scott Pierce, who I got a call Friday after the show from Sean Means, who works at the Tribune, worked with Scott Pierce, and said that he had died. Don't know all the details yet. He had been in some ill health. He also took a fall a week earlier. But it was a shock to everybody that this happened. He was original Geek Show. He was on before we did podcast. He was on the radio. And it was Jeff Weiss that pulled him kicking and screaming into it.
Kicking and screaming.
And, but every once in a while, he'd have a good time, and it wouldn't admit it, but he had a good time.
The real trip to me is, I mean, he left the show shortly after Jeff died, and he passed yesterday, I believe.
It was Friday, yes.
Yeah, and the 10th anniversary of Jeff's death is Monday.
I know, right?
So, I mean, it's pretty amazing. They were really good friends for a long time. I know that Scott helped Jeff get his feet under him when he took over for, was it Sean Means? In the early 90s?
Jeff took over for...
No, it wasn't Means. Sorry, it was Scott.
Because that was Deseret News, is what you're
saying. D News, yeah.
It was another film critic. But
yeah.
But Scott and Jeff, good friends. I know Scott missed Jeff terribly.
Yeah.
And it was he was fun to argue with, Scott Pierce, and I've been meaning to and this is the lesson that I'm taking away from this. For the past year, I was meaning to call him and say hi and tell him he was right about a certain thing, a certain person, and I meant to, and I kept meaning to, and life kept getting in the way, and then this happens, and so I have so many regrets that I never reached out to him.
Yeah.
He was just one of the smartest dudes I've ever met. A wealth of knowledge like you wouldn't believe, and funny as hell. Great writer. Anytime you saw his name on a story in the paper, you would immediately take the time to sit down and read it.
Rapier wit is probably the best description because it did cut. I was on the receiving end of that quite a few times.
Yes, he was great.
Phenomenal parent, though. I feel for his kids. Three kids.
He would do anything for them and his partner. And Dr. Paul points out, and Dr. Paul would know, he's one of the Geek Show Podcast archive people. Today is 16 years of Geek Show Podcast. So go to geekshowpodcastarchive.com. Dr. Paul is one of the people who maintains that site and takes care of it. You can hear
Dr. Paul.
Yes, and you can hear some Scott Pierce stuff there. As you can see in this photo here, if you're watching us on YouTube, 3 of our friends who are gone now, who are on Geek Show. So it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else to say? Everybody mourn your own way. I'll be having a glass of dark liquor tonight.
I'm going to watch terrible television shows and laugh at Scott's reaction to it.
Watch Falcon Crest for him. He will.
Oh, man.
yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He loved Buffy.
His stories about Dallas and was it who played JR? Larry
Hagman.
Larry Hagman.
Larry Hagman. They had a feud. It's beautiful.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did we consume this week? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Oh,
No, we'll let the commander go. Go ahead. Go.
Oh
Go.
gosh.
Go.
I'll try to be speedy. First off, the Jenny Nicholson 4-hour video about the Star Wars hotel. Highly recommend.
Okay.
But, I'm not going to go into it. The book I read this week, Children of Time. Tchaikovsky is the author's last name. It's an evolutionary sci-fi book. Humans send a virus to quickly evolve monkeys on a newly terraformed planet, but things go wrong and creatures like spiders and ants evolve instead. I quite enjoyed it.
You want those involved.
I really quite enjoyed it. One of the new releases this week, the Garfield movie. The story of how Garfield came to be Garfield and how he finds himself part of a high-stakes heist in order to save his father.
Okay. And
So
are you the lone voice who's going to like this movie?
Are you going to promote this movie, Rebecca?
At this screening, I was cackling, I was hooting and hollering.
Oh boy.
I have read nothing. You are the only person so far that I have heard of that liked this movie.
Listen, it's a fucking kids movie. I'm sorry to swear in my professional review, but I am a ground level Garfield enjoyer. So
I want to say Rebecca and I saw Venom together also. We had a great time laughing at that too. So these cackles do not maintain a positive review.
I just like movies. I feel like I'm the only critic who leaves these screenings enjoying movies unless it's fundamentally bad, like the movie If. Okay, I'm a ground level, entry level Garfield enjoyer. I know nothing about Garfield except he loves lasagna and hates Mondays, and that's it. I found this movie to be funny and endearing. If you're an experienced Garfield enjoyer, you are probably going to be put off by this particular version of these characters.
I don't like Chris Pratt. I can't do it.
Here's the thing. I didn't hate him in this. I think because I was more entertained by I love animals and I'm a sucker for pets, right? And this is purely a pet movie. I appreciated how the animation matched the original comic design.
Yes.
It's a kids movie.
Let me ask this question, Rebecca.
Yeah.
If we were to replace the Chris Pratt voice and send H. John Benjamin to the recording studio,
I would watch it.
Replace it. Would
Sure.
it be better?
I don't think it would make a difference.
Okay.
It's a kids movie. It's a kids movie. I don't know what you want. Not every movie needs to leave a lasting
we're not
impression.
Your film audience on Twitter arguing with yourself on this.
Yeah.
It's a typical hero's journey, and it had plenty of laughs.
Is there normal?
Which one's normal?
The gray
little
cat?
kitty.
No, I'm sure they're saving him for the sequel.
Yeah.
Odie,
Which there will be.
unsung hero.
Always.
Like I said, I wasn't mad at Chris Pratt. I thought it was fine. I was mad at Snoop Dogg, who voiced a cat and then also recorded a song for the movie. That's what I was upset about.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Anyway, 3,000 Years of Longing, not a new release. I gave Garfield a 3.5 out of 5. I watched 3,000 Years of Longing for the first time, and it is a movie about a woman who studies stories, played by Tilda Swinton. The study of stories, by the way, is called narratology. Learned something new.
Thank you.
She discovers a bottle and releases a djinn, parentheses, a genie, for those of you who
I
don't
could go
know.
for some gin right now.
Yeah, but
You
but
would.
the gin that she gets.
Is Idris Elba.
I want that gin also. Can I also have that gin?
And as she tries to come up with 3 wishes, we learn about the life of this djinn and how he came to be where he is today. This movie was beautiful. I loved every second of it. Written and directed by George Miller. I think the reason I love movies is because of storytelling. I love storytelling, and I think this movie is a beautiful tribute to storytelling while also intertwining fables of the human condition. These things go hand in hand. We are human, and all of that comes with it, and we pass our experiences and feelings on through storytelling.
And George Miller is a master at that.
And George Miller is a master at this. There are a few people. So when I went to the Garfield screening, I was excited to talk about this movie with fellow critics, and nobody had anything good to say. And I was going to throw myself off a cliff. They were going to become my 13th reason.
Oh boy.
But we had a nice talk about it.
But Lee and I had a nice talk about it. There's people out there who totally poo-pooed it, called it messy. A few people who watched the trailer and thought it looked too weird. And if one more person tells me this, like I said, you're going to become my 13th reason.
So I recently got the recommendation from Rebecca to watch this. And my question to you now is, do you want me to be that person who pushes you over if I don't like it?
That's the thing about Sarah, is typically things I like, she doesn't like. So I don't know.
It is a beautiful fairy tale.
It's
And
lovely. It's
I do wanna see it.
delightful.
yeah,
And I highly, highly, highly recommend watching this movie before going to see the next release that I'm going to talk about, Furiosa, because I feel like these movies go hand in hand. I would like to read to you the definition of an epic, like Homer's Odyssey or the Iliad. It is a long poem, typically one derived from ancient oral tradition, narrating the deeds and adventures of a heroic or legendary figure or the history of a nation. Furiosa is, I think we all know, the backstory of Furiosa, the literal prologue of her life. Please do not go into this movie expecting Fury Road 2. That's not what you're going to get. The thought...
Fury Road wasn't any of the Mad Max movies either. People
And George Miller has even said in interviews, he has written these movies not with the intention of interconnecting them at all. They are individual stories, tales from the wasteland.
They're fables from the wasteland, told from the perspective of the characters that are on screen at that time. So
the narrative may not be reliable.
Right, and that's why Max is 65 years older than he is in the first movies in Fury Road, because it's a fable told by the people in that time. So
The thought that I kept returning to during this movie is comparison is the thief of joy. And so if you're going into Furiosa with the intent to compare it to Fury Road, you're going to have a bad time. 3,000 Years of Longing is definitely a companion piece to Furiosa because of the storytelling. Fury Road is the climax to Furiosa's life, and this is everything that comes before. But also, the focus of this film isn't solely on Furiosa either. The universe itself is fleshed out more. We see Anna Morton-Joe, who is more of a bureaucrat who negotiates trade agreements. Pretty interesting stuff. People are praising Chris Hemsworth's performance. Personally, I could take it or leave it. I kind of feel like he's got one
I'm not
note
going
when
to
it
hear
comes
him
to
talk.
playing a villain.
I'm going to look at him.
abs. But
Meat trench.
Anya Taylor-Joy delivers a fantastic performance. She carries an unspoken rage and determination that showcases extremely well. I can understand, though, why people may not like this movie. It's definitely a slow burn. It's not chaotic at all. It's visually stunning. It's a visually stunning journey through the wasteland, and this movie only enhances Fury Road. I would highly recommend watching Furiosa and going immediately home and watching Fury Road. They do go hand in hand, but also please have a separate appreciation for this type of movie because it is different. Like I said, I can understand why some people wouldn't like it, but I think it's because they're comparing it to Fury Road, which does Furiosa a disservice.
Yeah. All right.
and
Who's
he
next?
supposedly wrote a huge chunk of this like 30 years ago.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah.
And there was intent to make this in tandem with Fury Road too.
Yeah.
There are some moments too. Anya Taylor-Joy is such a spectacle. She delivers some lines. She only has 30 lines of dialogue in this movie, but she delivers those lines. I thought they dubbed in Charlize. She captures the essence of Charlize Theron so well. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but your mileage may vary.
All right. Who's next?
Rob.
Okay.
Rob.
To follow up Rebecca's comment about liking narratology, what was your take on The Lady in the Water?
Mm.
The M. Night Shyamalan movie from
Yes.
forever ago?
Yes.
I didn't hate it.
Okay. That's all
People
you did.
did not like it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it, but I know
It's
I
also
enjoyed
been
it.
a long time since I've seen it.
Okay, I enjoyed it, and I also appreciated it because it did something at that time which was, I think, unusual. If the first time that it happened was that he had a movie that did not have a twist in it, so
Mm.
that was one of the things. But I just
The
wanted to
twist was that there's no twist.
basically, yeah.
The thing that I think about the most with Lady in the Water is I feel bad for Bryce Dallas Howard and how much bleach had to go on her hair.
No boy.
Fair enough. So this week, movie wise, I went back in the time capsule, having seen an interview on the Colbert Show with David Letterman, who was my nighttime guy
Mm-hmm.
back in the day growing up. And I realized how much I missed Dave. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's great seeing him do something. He was talking, he did the Colbert questionnaire and was asked, what is your favorite action movie? And without hesitation, he says, Once Upon a Time in the West. I'm like, all right, let's check
Very
that
good
box off.
movie.
Okay.
So we watched that this week, and oh my God, that is a fantastic movie. I don't know that it would play well for many audiences today because the pacing is not today's movie pacing, but the storytelling is so rich in that movie, and the cinematography is amazing in it.
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic watch. TV wise, this week's Discovery, the build up to next week.
Yeah.
I really
Thanks,
hope we get 2
John Frakes.
hours next week. Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Jonathan Frakes, because I really hope that we get 2 hours out of this because
Did he direct?
he did.
He
Oh,
directed, and,
right.
and we just found out that he directed the epilogue that had not been shot for the last episode.
Oh,
So they brought him in to direct the epilogue, where they brought the entire cast back to wrap up the series.
Oh, okay. Good.
fantastic. Could not have better news about that. It was really good. I watched also last week's Doctor Who episode. Did not get to watch last night's episode yet, but I'm really enjoying Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor because I like the fact that he is unfettered in a way that the 14 incarnations before him were. And I also enjoy his relationship with Ruby and their interactions. Did not see Furiosa, but I've been playing Fortnite with my youngest daughter.
Oh my God. The kids in our house are playing Fortnite nonstop.
And their new chapter is Wasteland, so it's very Furiosa, Mad Max-esque. And there's been a little bit of concern because my daughter was like, but they just got rid of the Greek stuff. I'm like, yeah, but you get this. So she's been driving cars through the
Going
Wasteland.
into Fallout initially, and then
It's also
seems like
partially Fallout. It's like a
partially
blend
Fallout.
of both.
But as my boyfriend was playing it, he was like, "This is way more Mad Max than it is Fallout."
Definitely. But they do have some Fallout lore and some Fallout
The building
pieces
design
in there.
also
Yeah.
looks very Fallouty.
So it's that's been fun because I can turn your brain off for 15 minutes, shoot stuff, walk away. It's great. Comics wise, really quick. Wonder Woman number 9.
Oh, that's
Great
cool.
cover.
Now, this cover is a fantastic representation of the story you get within because Wonder Woman has been captured by the Sovereign and he is literally trying to make her lose her mind. She has one of the things a lot of people forget is that Wonder Woman can talk to animals. She has a conversation with a rat, and it is delightful.
Well, I'd like her to come over and talk to some of our rats and get
It's a great story. I've really been enjoying. I know that I kind of bark on deconstruction of superheroes. I don't need it for a lot of them. Tom King's deconstruction of Diana in this has been really good and just showing what makes her Wonder Woman and why she works in such a strange, with everybody else, with Batman over here, Superman over here, why she still works so well as a character.
I'll let Tom King do anything he wants with a character. He can do no wrong.
And
So
it's
weird
been a great read.
Who would have thought that an ex-government spook would be such a good comic writer?
I know, right?
Superman 14, we finally get the big fight between Lobo and Superman, and
Finally.
it's finally, yeah. It's it ain't bad. We also get some other characters we haven't seen in a while from across the DC universe, which is also fun. Staying DC, but adding in Munsters. We get the penultimate episode of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong.
What?
Fun.
So did,
Yeah.
did Lex
Giant
bring
monsters blowing
Mechagodzilla
shit
to the
up.
fight?
Superheroes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
When does the
That's such-
Scooby Gang show up?
That's such a
They don't.
bringing Mechagodzilla to the dance party is such a Lex flex, you know.
And Lex is like, I got this thing. we're going to make this work, and it's been fun. It's it's superheroes punching things, it's giant monsters blowing things up. It's everything
What
you
else
want
do you
in one
need?
package. Exactly, it's everything in one. And lastly, Ultimate Black Panther 4.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and I will just say, read it. Not going to tell you anything about it. Just read it.
Just read it.
It works. Yeah,
All
just
right.
read it.
Who's next? Lee,
I can go.
Sarah? Okay,
Go,
Sarah.
Sarah, go.
I recently got finished reading The Shining, which has changed my life. Incredible book, unbelievable. Probably one of the top 5 books I've ever read now.
Really? Wow.
And it contrasts so wildly to the movie in
Oh,
a
yeah.
way that made me hate the movie. I've never
Well,
been.
there's a reason why he hates the movie.
Oh yeah, and I've since come to understand that. And yeah, The Shining has always been what I understand to be a pinnacle of filmmaking from other people. I understand the cinematography, and I know it's beautifully shot. I don't like it for some. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't like it.
What do you have against Scatman Crothers?
Nothing. I love him. He's great. He's the best.
Oh, it was
part.
Danny. Got it.
Danny's a little freak weirdo in the movie. In the book, he's so much better and more relatable. I would highly recommend, if you like the movie at all, read the book. Most of you probably already have, and I'm 35 and just have read it. I'm now on to reading Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to it. I heard the movie's not great.
Oh no, the movie's Mike Flanagan. I hear it's incredible.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie,
okay.
actually.
I enjoyed it.
That's just something I've
It's
read.
Ewan
around
McGregor.
the-
How could he go wrong?
I
Also-
like him. Yeah.
Also, Sarah, not to publicly call you out, but we said we were
Uh-huh.
going to reread Annihilation together.
We did say
and
that. And you
I
already
have read it. And where
I
are you?
did not read it. Okay, I'll read it when I get home. Sorry, I'm a
It's
bad
okay.
book
It's fine. No, it's fine.
partner. So I am reading Dr. Sleep in ahead of Annihilation. We also have been going back in the time vault and recently watched Volcano, No Country for Old Men, and there was another.
Is this your
Did
Tommy
you
Lee
pair-
Jones rewatch?
Did you pair? I was going to say you
Yeah.
should pair
Oh,
Volcano
yeah.
with Dante's Peak.
We are going to do that, and I can't wait. I love Dante's Peak. There was another one we watched recently too that I can't remember. But
Men
what
in
we are
Black?
Men in Black. I love Men in Black so much, so that might be next in
He's
line.
wearing some kind of Egger suit.
Oh my god, it's such a
More
good movie.
sugar water.
Tommy Lee Jones, one of my favorite actors of all time.
Well,
What we're
a fun fact, 45 years old, the movie Alien, and I just read this morning that Tommy Lee Jones was offered the part of Captain Dallas. He said, no, I'd rather play the alien.
Oh,
All right,
I
anyway.
love that.
Well, the
Some
alien's
insight
a
into
girl,
Mr.
so
All right.
I love that. We are watching season 2 of The Jinx, which is the craziest documentary I've ever seen in my human life.
My wife is watching that, yeah.
It's the most unhinged, seemingly fabricated story. Rebecca, do you know what it is?
I'm aware. People
Okay.
keep trying to tell me to watch this, and I'm like, I don't need.
No, you need
You
to
can just
watch
tell me
it.
about it.
No,
I'm
no, 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 no.
aware of
No one
what
can.
it's about.
You need to watch it. A man is arrested for stealing a sandwich, and he has
when he had like
$500
$500
he
in
had
his pocket. Yeah.
$500 on him. $37,000 in cash in his car outside. No need to steal a sandwich. And come to find out, he's been on the run for not 1, not 2, but 3 murders, probably more, and all over like the country. And he's this like real estate nepo baby from New York, and just you need to watch it. So the final episode of the second season airs tomorrow, and I'm aching for it.
right.
So, and then I've been watching a lot of Fallout or Fortnite get played in my house by the kids who take over my TV.
You should join them. You should totally join
Yes.
I don't want to play Fortnite. I'm not into MMOs.
Lee?
them. Fine.
All right. I finished Reacher season 2. Reacher has absolutely no right being as good as it is.
Really?
Oh, really?
It has no right being as good as it is. Now the
They
Lee Child
cast
books
an
are
even
great.
larger. They cast
I
an
know,
even larger man
Oliver-
for season
I
three.
want
Oliver-
to see the 2 large men kiss. That's the only
Two large
thing I want.
refrigerators just
Yes,
hammering
because-
each other.
Because for the first time, Richard's going to have to get up on a step stool to kiss somebody.
Yeah.
Oliver Richters was cast as Paulie in the next season, but
A 7'2" bodybuilder. The man
Yeah.
is massive.
now there are of course people complaining because the character is supposed to be 200 pounds heavier than Reacher.
That's
And
an insane
Alan Richardson is like
metric.
280
He's
pounds. So
already massive.
anyway, Reacher season 2 is fantastic. Also, I just love the fact that Big Man Kit Car Deploy Airbag is
Yes.
Big Man
great.
Kit Car. That season 2 finale was a real butt clencher of an episode
It
too.
was. So I'm excited to see that.
Time
I'm happy for Lee Child that he gets to wash the taste of the Tom Cruise Reacher movies out of his mouth. So Fargo season 5, we're finally getting into that, and it is terrifying. It is terrifying. But also I am so happy to see the lady from Ted Lasso playing a perfect Midwestern person when I know she's got a Cockney
Juno
accent.
Temple.
Juno Temple is, and
she's
several
terrific.
times she pulls different accents flawlessly. So it's great. Delicious in Dungeon, if you're into your fantasy dungeon anime, it's so much fun. Caught the first 2 episodes of Doctor Who and found myself so annoyed that I had to take a break.
Ruh-roh.
And I'm hoping it gets better.
What's annoying
What are you annoyed with?
I think I don't like Russell T Davies' direction in these first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
I hated Space Babies with every fiber of my being.
What about
And
the
then-
Bogeyman?
Yeah, it's all right. But it's like we've been there and done that. By making them squirrelier, clap, and skip a lot doesn't make it better. So the second episode, I really liked Jinx Monsoon a lot. I liked the costume design. I liked everything until why have Beatles with no Beatles music? But anyway, that's
All
fine.
right.
I understand rights. I hear the third episode is phenomenal.
Yes.
So I'm
Because that's
saving
the
that for tonight.
Stephen Moffat episode, right?
Right, which is killing me because everybody's like, "Oh, Russell Davies is back. Fuck Stephen Moffat," and it turns out Moffat probably wrote the best episode of the season so far. So,
Well, the thing is, Moffat as a writer for Doctor Who was great. Moffat as a showrunner, not
right,
so much.
right.
I've heard that before.
My Adventures with Superman debuts tonight on Adult Swim and will be on Max tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to be watching the first 2 episodes with a huge grin on my face because I love that show so much. Discovery Episode 9, Lagrange Point. I love the fact that they made this amazing, fun episode of Star Trek, and because it is a science fiction show, they did not stop to explain what a Lagrange Point is. And I love that.
Yes.
I
No
love that.
explanation
True.
needed.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
because it's
and-
like...
And what I love is that because Riker directed the episode, they used the Riker maneuver.
Yeah, they rammed it. they rammed it. And then
loved it.
finally, I've had this on order for 2 months. I finally got my Fallout Hollywood Heroes miniatures from the Fallout show that just came out.
Oh, I love it.
It
How
is
big
fantastic.
are the eyes? How big are the eyes on Ella Purnell?
They're actually really good. The likeness is really quite good. I think they use digital scanning on it because the Maximus is it's the actor. So
Wow.
and considering these are 32 millimeter miniatures, that's really hard to do without digital scanning. So
Yep.
I've had this on back order for like 2.5 months now. So
Ooh. I might
that
have
is
to get
how
some.
popular the Fallout series has been and the effect it's had on all of its licensing.
And it better
Everything.
get renewed for 9 more seasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
What
renewed
about
for at
season
least
2
one
at
more.
least?
Let's see. I watched, of course, Star Trek. Loved it this week. I'm going to be sad to have a last one next week. Don't forget that Dune 2 is on your Max now. So if you haven't seen Dune 2 yet, which is what I'll be doing this weekend. But I also watched on Disney Plus, they do, with their Marvel projects, Assembled.
Oh,
They did one for X-Men 97. And it's the writers and the voice actors and everybody. And it's just, it brought kind of misty to my eye how all of these people working on this new show were so heavily influenced by the original show. It was so important to their upbringing as a kid. It made them think differently. It made them look at life differently.
Yeah.
And they all tell their stories in this. So I would suggest that you, if you love X-Men 97, the original animated series, watch this. It's just Assembled X-Men 97. Take a look at it. Very informative, and you'll learn stuff. I like learning stuff about shows. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for
finish
joining us.
Madam Web.
I started it last. Thank you. I am now, there's like 30 minutes left. I'm small bites. I'll finish. It's terrible.
But
It
you're
is so
losing out
bad.
on the momentum of the movie, Carrie.
There
So
is
the-
no momentum. That's the thing.
The analogy Carrie's giving is that when eating a shit sandwich, just do it one bite at a
Just
time.
take
Enjoy
your
it.
time.
Really enjoy
Really
it.
savor it.
It is so bad. Anyway, join us at the after party. GeekShowGotThisCovered.com is the link to our Patreon. Come and join us. We're going to head over there right now. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Goodbye.